So there was this little like survey situation that I was watching on YouTube,
right.
and they had like sex workers there, and then they had virgins there, and that's
right.
where I actually thought about this video.
Right.
And one of the questions that they asked was, do you feel like you make a difference in your occupation? Like in terms of as a question to the sex workers. And the responses that I heard were actually very interesting. So first of all, I'd want to ask you guys the same question. Do you think that sex workers make a difference to like the
Society.
world? Like, yeah, to society.
Yeah. You know, I believe in yin and yang. The providing a service. And I think in any business, it's about people first. And there are some people who just crave certain things. Some people have certain mindsets. Some people have got certain fantasies. So, you know, in order for the human race to move on, certain people want to be, you know, manhandled, they want to be cuddled, they want to be, you know. So when maybe you grew up in a certain environment where you had to be, you know, a bit like stiff, then a sex worker helps you to be flexible, and that's your release. And next day you become the president of the country, and it helps you not make terrible decisions. So I think
I'm with Bims. You're laughing, but I'm with Bims.
I think
I was wondering how we got to president.
Their necessity. Their necessity. Definitely.
This story started off at 6 work, ended up with the president. Do you know something we don't know, Bims? In this country where we've only ever had 2 presidents.
You know what? No. Example. It was an EG. It was an EG.
RG.
No. Dennis, you know.
Cut.
You got
Jason.
please. You can go and watch Netflix for that content. What?
Stop it.
Dennis, do you think
Oh my
do you
word.
think sex work makes a contribution to society?
I think they make a difference. I'm not entirely sure whether that difference is a net positive or negative. I think like anything else that involves like sexual indiscipline, right? So like pornography and sex work, etc. There's a very big chance that you're actually like damaging families, right? Like actual like, and I think that negative part of it it's hard to quantify because like we don't know what percentage of people are getting addicted to this and not taking care of their families. However, I would assume from the example that you're giving that there's also an argument for people who wouldn't otherwise have access to a basic physiological need, right? And they're like, yo, this is where I can get it, and if they didn't get it in that way, we also don't know another way. Or they become abusive and you know, they become rapists or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you have the option to do that, then you know you can settle on that.
Yeah.
But like I think there are pros and cons. I don't know whether I think it's an overly positive or negative. But there is a difference that they're making for sure.
Interesting, because that's actually part of what the responses were. So it was like, and some of them I understood, some of them I was like, because it was like, okay, so the guy who knows that he's dying in a month from cancer and is bedridden, and he can't go to the club and get a girl. So sex work becomes like a safe environment in which he can do those things. Then there were some where it was like, you know, the married guy who hasn't had sex with their wife for X amount of time. They don't want to leave the relationship, but this is an essential part of the relationship that they're lacking. And because they're in a safe environment with the sex worker, they can get those needs and then go on to be a better husband within marriage, even though they're not getting this physiological needs met. And then there was a saving lives situation as well, where it was like, you know, people who would otherwise, like what you say, be abusive, or they come in and they wanted to do something, but because, you know, for that moment they got some relief, then maybe they didn't go out and do whatever it is that they were contemplating on doing. The one that really struck me was the husbands and wives situation. Do you sex work can save marriages?
Yes.
TJ.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
That was a quick yes.
Right?
Yes, I do. No, and here's why, right? Because at least my experience is own, excuse me, right? Is that there are times where sex or intimacy has been weaponized, right? Where it's like, I will not, and for me, like I said before, right? Like that physical contact is an essential aspect or part of a relationship across the board, right? It is like that for me, but I genuinely believe that it's important in terms of how you bond, that intimacy is necessary, right? And so in a situation where that is then weaponized or tried to use against you, where it's like, I won't have sex with you unless you do this or until you do that, right? I think that fucks up the entire principle of what that relationship is.
Yeah.
And where that person then standing there and being like, okay, so my wife won't have sex with me. I'm not, and then maybe you've got kids, right? So my wife is not having sex with me. I'm not trying to have a consistent side item or whatever. Like I don't want it. It's not a consistent thing that I want. Quite legitimately, all I want is sexual relief, right? Sex work in my mind provides that release, right? Where I think it is then a problem is if there has not been clear communication about that with your partner beforehand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you just drink
Like
that.
to tell your partner that
Hold on. So what I'm saying is, so you haven't had the conversation to be like, bro, listen, intimacy is important to me. This is what I want to do. Johnny. I need to go. And then your partner still, you having said that and explained that, this is like, yeah, well, fuck you. I hold the power, blah, blah, blah. Bro, waramba, cool.
Oh, so like a little cheating is okay, but with professionals.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Do you believe sex workers can save marriages?
I mean, if now, whether it's the wife or the husband, because they're male sex workers as well.
Yeah.
If we're now stepping out and going and seeking pleasure outside the matrimonial home, I think the whole thing is broken down. Because I think sex is a very important part of us being you and me.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
because it's a way of being intimate. It's a way of communicating. It's a way of creating an inseparable communication. Because in we can have fun, you know.
Double entendre.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you're not gonna, let's go upside down, then why are we in it? No, to be honest, why are we in it? And I think it boils down to respect, even for self, your body. This is my thing with my person. And if I'm comfortable having sex with someone else that's not you, the respect is no longer there and the love is just not there anymore. So I don't think it saves. It's actually you now just being selfish and just keeping up a front because of societal views.
Would you look at it different? Say you've been married to someone for like 20 years and then they cheat on you with some random date at Pablo's versus if they cheat on you with a prostitute.
No, there's already a problem. Cheating is cheating. Like, I don't care if it's a sex worker.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
No.